Welcome back to Radio Taiwan International. You're listening to Geek Out. What's your cup of tea? Tickles your fancy or floats your boat? Join us as we share passions from people in Taiwan and around the world. I'm your host, Michelle Chang, and today in the studio we have my very good friend, Kat Chai.
Hello.
So, what are we geeking out about today?
We're talking about crochet.
Yes, I was asking the topic, and I'm like, oh no. It's crochet versus knitting. There's not really that much animosity between us. Not at all. So for the listeners who might not know the differences, tell us about crochet. What is it?
Crochet is yarn fiber art, and it's done with a single hook, often done to create amigurumi or stuffed animals and things like that. Yep. It's a little easier than knitting, in my opinion.
To each their own.
Yeah, fair.
It's kind of like, I liken it to skiing versus snowboarding.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah,
it's like whichever one you learn first is the one that you kind of just...
stick with.
Yeah, you stick with it.
Yeah.
And then trying to learn the other side of it is harder.
Yeah.
Right? But I do know people who do both.
Mm-hmm.
And they've always said the same thing. It's whichever one they learn first is the one that they're more used to, I guess.
Fair.
Right.
Yeah.
So crochet is with one hook.
Yes.
Whereas knitting is with two needles.
Yes.
So guys, when you're watching this in like movies or whatever, then now you can identify which one is which, right? I think there are definitely differences in what the outcome looks like the product.
Yeah.
If you look at knitting, there's always...
You have that like V
Yes.
shape, right?
That's the most basic pattern,
Yeah.
right? You have that V shape, and then people branch out from there.
Yeah.
As far as like different stitches and things.
Crocheting, like each individual stitch of a crochet looks more like a little knot circle.
Yeah, like a knot instead. So you mentioned
amigurumi.
Amigurumi. Thank you.
Yes.
Amigurumi. Please explain what those are.
Amigurumi are a form of stuffed animals, basically. Yes. It's just crocheted little stuffed animals.
Yay, that's so cute.
They are very cute.
Yeah. I've seen many online, just, sellers that sell amigurumi. Mm-hmm. But what's cool about you is that you create your own. Do you even write it down? Is there a pattern? Or
I don't
do you
use
just
patterns,
like wing it?
No, I just wing it.
Yeah.
Really? Really?
Wow. I can't even knit without a pattern. It's just terrible. Unless you just want a scarf.
Just straight.
Just straight. Yep. Okay. So what have you, what things? What kind of amigurumi have you made?
So I started, the very first thing I ever crocheted, and you can, if you ever look at the pictures, you can see the progress that I made. But the very first thing that I ever made was a Sam Winchester doll from the TV show Supernatural.
Oh, after my own heart.
Right?
Guys, this I have never mentioned on the show, but Supernatural is my jam. And the Winchester boys. Mm-hmm. I never made it to a Supernatural con because I just don't. No. Yeah, I've mostly been over here, which is a pity. Please come here. Please, guys. Jensen Ackles, Jerry Padalecki, please come here and be on my show. I love you guys. Okay, continue.
Yeah. So that was the first thing I made was Sam Winchester. And then, of course, I had to follow that up with Dean.
Yeah.
And my mother is a huge Supernatural fan.
Oh, great.
So
that's fantastic.
I made all of the characters for
So
her.
Castiel.
So she has Sam, Dean, she has Castiel, she has Mark Shepard's character.
Crowley,
thank you. She has Bobby.
Oh, cute.
She has, like literally, I made everyone. And then she took them to a convention and got them autographed.
Oh no, oh that's the best. I said oh no, but that's not what I meant. It's because I'm jealous.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so all of my dolls, she has them on a shelf now and they've all been autographed by the actual
actors.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So that's the first thing I made. This. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure there's challenges.
Okay.
When it comes to crocheting amigurumi versus just, a blanket or something, right? So tell us, for your first one, did you have to restart it?
Oh, yes.
Because that's how I learned.
Yeah,
I had to restart something over and over again.
Yeah. When we tear it out in crocheting, at least we call it frogging.
Oh, frogging. I like this term.
We tear out the whatever we've made, it's frogging.
Okay.
So when I first made Sam, I frogged him multiple times.
Aww.
He went all the way down to nothing and started fresh.
Okay. Because it's very, how big was he?
He's probably about 10 to 12 inches tall.
Okay. Which means like the limbs and things are actually very, very narrow.
Yeah.
Like small work.
Yeah.
Any particular challenges? Like why was he frogged so many times?
With Sam, he got frogged so many times because I didn't know what I was doing. honestly.
Your very first, right?
Yeah. I was teaching myself how to crochet
Okay.
while I was making him.
So you hadn't actually made that many like crochet
I had never
products.
made anything before, Sam. Sam was my very first crochet project.
That's actually really cool because most people who, crochet or knit start with basics like,
like
a scarf, a square, a placeholder.
In retrospect, should have started that way.
But you jumped in the deep end.
I did.
Like really deep.
Yeah.
So how did you approach his clothing?
Sam's clothing is all removable. It's all,
like we always want it to be. Okay, continue.
Yes, you can dress him and undress him.
Yes.
So I actually crocheted it around him.
Okay.
So built it onto his body.
Okay.
In a very strange kind of a way.
His big old flannel,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Sam was your first. Now, roughly how many have you made?
I've made a lot.
Like, how many would you estimate to date?
Man, for the dolls, the amigurumi dolls, I've probably made close to 25 or 30 of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you done anything else besides amigurumi?
I have, yeah. The last time I was here in Taiwan, I had started building a Star Wars quilt.
I remember looking at this.
Yes.
I remember it, yes.
It's finished now.
Yay.
I'm very proud of it. But it has scenes or images from each of the movies in order.
Okay.
So if you're looking at the quilt, you can kind of follow the movie timelines for the original 3 movies.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
It's pretty great, yeah. And then in quarantine, when Canada went into lockdown, we went into lockdown for like several months.
Oh no.
We were not allowed to work. Yeah, it was pretty miserable.
Would you consider yourself introverted or extroverted?
I'm an introvert.
So it was a little better for us.
It was okay. Yeah, it was okay, but it also got very old very quickly because we went into to lockdown in March.
Okay.
And then I didn't leave the house until at least August.
So this is actually a basic question that I have actually never asked anyone who was in true lockdown. Taiwan never actually went into straight up lockdown. What did you do for food and other basic necessities?
So we had to order food. So like groceries. I had to order groceries
Delivery
from
services.
the store, and then we would go pick them up. So you'd go and you'd stand out in front of the store. And
somebody would
bring it out to you, and you're maintaining these 6. So they set the groceries down and they walk away, and then you go up and you pick them up, and then it was intense.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was intense. So no contact with people for a long time.
Like I said, it's a little easier for us introverts in order to survive that. But it's still 3 months of that is a lot.
It's still rough. Yeah. Yeah. So during this time, I made another quilt. I made a Harry Potter one.
Yes. I also saw that on your Instagram.
Yes.
But, so you did quilts and amigurumi and basically a lot of projects. Do you have a favorite?
I think my Star Wars quilt is my favorite that I've made.
Yeah, I'm sure you brought it here. Did you bring it back here?
I did not. It's too heavy.
Oh, that's true.
It's very, very heavy. Yeah, it's in Canada still.
To give you guys some background information, Kat used to live in Taiwan for, how long was that?
Almost 5 years.
Yes. And then you moved back to Canada.
Yes.
And then now you're back in Taiwan.
And now I'm back in Taiwan.
couldn't stay away from us.
No, I couldn't stay away.
Right? So I can imagine that quilt was probably very bulky and heavy.
Yes, it was.
That's right. You'll see it again one day.
Exactly. Someday.
How is the Canada Post if someone were to mail it?
It's very slow.
Slow is fine. I mean, as long as it eventually makes it over here, right?
Yeah.
Guys, Taiwan government subsidizes the postal system, so it's actually really cheap to send things out of Taiwan.
That's nice.
Yes. Which is why phoenixdice.com is actually a decent business venture. We're based in Taiwan and we ship out very, very inexpensively. So anyone internationally can buy dice from us.
And I did several times.
Oh, thank you. Yes, you did. I remember. But so if you make more amigurumi for people who live outside of Taiwan, it's pretty easy to ship to them. Did you ever think about making this a business?
I thought about it. And part of me... So I do commissions.
Yeah.
I'll do, I've made a lot of quilts and things for people, and have been paid for those.
Oh.
But part of me doesn't want to make it into a business because then it feels like it takes some of the joy out of it.
It does, right? That's kind of, I experienced that because the only reason I started the whole dice thing is because I collected stuff like vintage dice.
Right.
And then, they look like gemstones to me.
Yes.
So, raccoon brain. The
Hoard.
Must hoard with my little raccoon hands. So I decided, well, hey, if I can ship out of Taiwan and I can source dice from, factories in Asia, then I can maybe make it into a business. But it does actually, that pressure, that weight that's always on you, definitely take some of the joy out of that.
It does.
Hobby.
Yeah.
But I do know many people who have Instagram accounts that where it's not an actual business, but they do open commissions now and then.
Yeah.
So I would just be I would be super stoked to have a Winchester from you. Just saying. I'm sure there's lots of other people who would feel the same.
Yeah.
How much are commissions? Like, how much was one that you took for something?
It depends on what I'm making. I have made like my Sam and Dean dolls. I've sold them for probably $30 a piece. It's not bad because I can make them pretty quickly.
And you didn't write anything down, so you don't have like
I don't have a pattern or anything. So, but I've made them frequently enough that I kind of have it like muscle memory.
Oh wow!
So I can make those ones pretty quick. I've made quilts for people for commission, and those ones are closer to $150.
Bigger,
yeah,
obviously
$150.
A lot more material as well. Costs for materials have gone up a lot. I've noticed because being a knitter, I also pick up yarn, especially during the pandemic. Did you see like a hike in prices?
Definitely.
In Canada, I do think that a lot of stuff is locally made.
Yes,
so
we do have that going for us. But because there was nothing to do.
Oh no, right.
Things hobbies went up, right? So it became such a more common hobby.
Yeah, that's true.
When I was doing it there because we had nothing else to do for multiple months.
Yeah, lockdown, crochet or knitting is very convenient to do when you're stuck in your house.
Yes.
Oh, I apologize for that. My condolences. That must have been terrible. Seeing all the prices hike.
Yeah.
In Taiwan, I'm gonna say the vast majority, if not like all of it, is imported.
Yeah.
All materials.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and I'm gonna say maybe some tools are produced here, but all materials because wool. Taiwan doesn't really have alpaca
sheep or alpaca,
right? Yeah. So where does all of our stuff come from? Probably places like Canada.
Probably, yeah.
How much? Just to kind of compare like prices, right? Even if we're just gonna do acrylic.
Yes.
Do you work with acrylic?
I work with acrylic. Okay. Yeah.
So, like a really cheapo thing of acrylic here is maybe what, like 50, 60 NT, which is like roughly like $2.
$2, yeah.
$2. What? Yes. Okay. So Kat just made a pain gesture. How much would it be in Canada?
If I'm getting just like a basic ball of like acrylic yarn, I'm paying at least $5 in Canadian.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So it's cheap. Well, acrylic specifically is cheaper here.
Yes. So it's cheaper here.
Yes, but wool. If I were to get something made of, God forbid, alpaca. That same skein of yarn. You want to pronounce however you want to say it. Right, depends on where you're from. But the skein of yarn would maybe be about 300 to 500, depending on how the material feels.
Okay.
How was that in Canada?
It's probably similar.
Similar.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad then.
Yeah.
However that's going.
Depends. It's a lot easier to get. Like hand dyed or like.
Oh, the variation. There's so much variation over there versus here. Really not very much selection at all.
Yeah.
So.
That's the downside too, right?
Yeah.
Acrylic is easier to get here.
That's true.
Than the nicer ones.
That's true. I mean, there are resources now that we have the internet. A lot of the materials coming out of China, which does have a decent, materials industry for things like wool, there's a lot. Like Shopee.com is actually a very commonly used website in Taiwan to shop online.
I'm just going to hoard all these knowledge.
Oh,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
But it actually, that specific website pulls resources from all over Asia. So there's lots of sellers from individuals, it's kind of like Amazon. So it's individual sellers who all post their product on Shopee, and then you buy it. Shopee automatically calculates your import taxes and all of that, and things magically show up at your local 7-Eleven.
That's so convenient.
I know, right? Guys, those of you who don't have any Taiwan experience, a lot of people here live in apartments where you don't have a secure mail drop situation for packages specifically because it's bigger than your little mail slot.
Little tiny mail slot.
So the local convenience stores, so 7-Eleven, Family Mart, High Life, OK Mart, all of those, have picked up the service of taking in packages for the people who live in that area. And that to me is amazing.
It's so convenient.
It was convenient. So convenience store, right?
Exactly. That's one of the things that I like genuinely missed about being here is the convenience of the convenience stores.
Yeah.
We have 7-Eleven in Canada, but it's not.
You don't eat the food there.
No, you don't eat the food there.
Eat the food
don't do it.
And maybe they say they do sell stuff like road snacks. So they beef jerky, chips, slushies. Oh, slushy day just passed, guys. But in Taiwan, convenience stores do everything.
Yeah.
You can pay your utilities bills. You can pick up actually basic groceries. Some places even do dry cleaning send out. And like I said, they do take in your packages. And then a notification will go off on your computer or phone. Ding, you have a package at your local 7 where you requested it to be sent. You go to that convenience store and they even do cash on delivery. So they hold your package. You pay for your goods at 2-7 and then they hand you your package. You're all set to go.
So convenient.
So convenient. So I'm going to say that would make your materials, sourcing a lot easier.
A lot easier, for sure.
The only downside is you don't get to,
touch.
Yeah. That's my favorite part.
Me too.
I remember in Boston, I would, when I used to live there, I would go to the yarn store and I would just be
browse
touching.
And touch.
Browsing and touching. Then they understand.
Yes. Oh, 100%. The people in my yarn store knew me. I'd walk in and they'd be like, oh, hey, are you buying anything today? And I'd be like, no, I just want to touch things.
It's definitely a tactile hobby.
Yeah.
Because, well, first of all, you're working with your hands.
Yes.
So you don't want a material that gives you the heebie-jeebies.
Exactly. So you have to touch it the whole time.
Yeah, you have to touch the material the entire time. And of course, the product that you make, it's got to feel nice. It's a amigurumi or cuddly.
Yeah, exactly.
Should be cuddly.
They should be cuddly.
Okay, so we've talked about what other characters have you made in that?
So my sister loves the BBC show Merlin.
Oh yeah, I've never watched it, but I'm familiar.
So I've made both Merlin and Arthur and Morgana. And I made her a dragon to go with them.
Oh, best.
So
you've done non-humanoid.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Cool.
Oh, and my mom has Baby the Impala. So from Supernatural.
So you actually made the Impala.
I made the Impala.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought okay, first of all, they do produce a model kit for the Impala Baby. And there is a hack on YouTube where if you buy 2 of them, then you can open the trunk and, you Frankenstein 2 model kits together in order to make it have more features, right?
Okay.
So that's on my list of things to do.
Love it.
In the hobby department. But I can't believe you crocheted one.
I did. I crocheted Baby.
That must have been an adventure.
Oh, it was rough.
Because every time you start on something that another humanoid, because you've done humanoids before.
It's the same rough outline, right?
Yeah,
so I can start with the body shape.
Exactly. But then if you want to do something that's really not humanoid,
it's very different. Yeah.
It's a lot of frogging.
It's a lot of frogging.
Which is kind of sad.
Yeah. Yeah. My mom gets more upset than me when she watches me frog things because I'm like, it's fine. I just need to fix it. It's not good enough. And my mom's like, but no.
But no, the cute thing is disappearing into thread. Yeah. So right. I'm going to say hobbies in general are a great thing to have. And specifically, like if you when you get to a certain level in crochet or knitting, then you can kind of have, a TV show or movie on and then occupy your hands. It's great for people who need to fiddle.
Yes, it's the only way I can watch TV.
Right?
I cannot watch TV.
I love having I need to have something in my hands.
Yeah, exactly.
So if somebody were to start in the hobby of crochet, any recommendations or tips that you would give?
Start with finding where it's comfortable to hold things.
Okay.
Because I know people will teach you how to hold your yarn and how to hold your needle, and they're very specific about how to do it. And
same with knitting.
I don't do it the traditional way.
Oh yeah, okay.
I found a way that works for me, and people look at me like I'm crazy. If they know how to crochet, they're like, "What are you doing?" But it works for me, and it's comfortable. So don't feel like you have to do it the way that people are telling you to do it. Just do it make it feel comfortable for you.
Oh, that's great. It's kind of like chopsticks. As long as you can get the food
you go.
Conveniently into your mouth, then that's fine.
Exactly. You just gotta eat.
Right. The end goal is, enjoying the food.
Exactly.
Bam. So, okay. Because there's at this point so many YouTube tutorials and you can actually buy patterns online if you see something you really want to make. You jumped in the deep end.
I did.
With like just jumping into amigurumi rather than starting with basics.
Yep.
But if that's what you want to do, guys, just go ahead and do it.
There's also now, I don't know if these kinds of things have made it over to Taiwan, but there's now a company called Woobles, and they make little kits to start crocheting amigurumi. And so you start with like, it gives you the yarn and the supplies you need, and then a pattern, and you end up with like a little animal. It's like palm sized.
Oh, that's adorable.
It's very cute.
And that's actually great, because if the kit comes with like everything that you need, then you don't have to go source things.
Exactly.
So, Woobles. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But guys, if you guys want to go see the product, it's not products, the amigurumi.
Yeah.
The really cute little figurines that Kat has made. Where can we go?
My Instagram is Cats Books and Hooks.
Yay! Oh, I love it.
Thanks.
On Instagram.
On Instagram. Yeah.
So you can go see her amigurumi, her cuddlies. Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And thanks, listeners, for tuning in to Radio Taiwan International. I'm Michelle Chang, and we'll be back next Thursday with another episode of Geek Out.